We got some good news recently. A guy on screen here, this is Ryan Walters, and he's been running this campaign to take over Oklahoma in the name of Christianity. And he failed. There was a big fail recently that I want to talk about. It's a reason to celebrate right now. We should be celebrating over this. If you don't remember what was going on with this guy, not too long ago, he announced that he's going to have every single teacher in every classroom have a Bible that they teach from. Obviously, this whole plan of his is simply to send it to the Supreme Court to see if the Supreme Court is going to approve it. But it's an Oklahoma Supreme Court. Like, that's pretty disturbing, right? And Oklahoma is awful. So everybody's kind of like concerned that the Oklahoma Supreme Court is going to allow the Bible to be taught from like the teacher from the classroom or whatever. But the Supreme Court just did a ruling recently. They ruled on another issue that he's pushing right now, which is funding religious schools with taxpayer dollars. And I won't bury the lead here. The Oklahoma Supreme Court ruled that it's not legal for Oklahoma to do that, to fund religious schools with taxpayer dollars. Fantastic news. If you don't remember this story or whatever, let me just give you a little bit of background on it. There's a Catholic charter school. A charter school is a publicly funded independent school established by teachers, parents, or community groups under the terms of a charter with a local or national authority. So it's kind of like a private school that's been approved by the state to act as a public school, basically. And this Catholic school is, it's religious, so it can't legally receive funds from the tax dollars or whatever to teach kids. But Ryan Walters just decided to start sending it money as though it was like a normal public school. And of course, that's illegal. Well, the Supreme Court of Oklahoma decided it's not legal. Listen to what he has to say about it. This is back from when this all started originally. This is April 5th, 2024.
Here in Oklahoma, our first religious charter school, the first religious charter school in the country, has been talked about a lot lately. And there's one thing I wanted to really clear up. You've heard a lot of folks on the left refer to the separation of church and state, and the radicals on the left have used this phrase to weaponize government.
The radicals on the left weaponizing government, okay?
Against Christians, against people of faith, and it's ridiculous. Here in Oklahoma, we're going to continue to stand for your freedom of
freedom of religion, right? So what he's saying is, I want to punch you in the face, and when you stop me from punching you in the face, you're violating my rights. That's what the country's laws were based on. Your right to swing your fist, and right here. You can't swing your fist right here. Anywhere else you want, but not here, because then it's a violation of my rights, not you exercising your rights. So this guy is claiming that by cramming his religious values, and by the way, if you're Christian, they're not your religious values. He's an extremist far-right Christian who wants to shove conservatism down people's throats too. He's claiming by you stopping him from shoving his religious and conservative values down your kid's throat, you're violating his religious rights. Religious rights do have a stopping point. You can't do whatever you want. You can't take a kid up to a mountain and tie him to an altar and pull his heart out every day at noon. You're not legally allowed to do that. I don't care what your religious beliefs are. Your right to swing your fist ends at the tip of my nose. Does he understand that? Or is he just being a scumbag? I can't tell.
Quick interjection. This won't take long, I promise. I just want to say I'd appreciate it if you check my Patreon. OwenMorgan.com/Patreon to find it. YouTube's algorithm goes up and down, so I can never predict where it's going to be. Having patrons gives me some level of stability. Okay, back to the video.
And for your freedom of religion, for your ability to freely exercise your religious beliefs. And we're not going to allow the left to weaponize a phrase, separation of church and state, which, by the way, is not found anywhere in the Constitution.
Oh my God, dude, I'm sorry. This is from David Barton, and it's nonsense. Separation of church and state is a phrase used to refer to the Establishment Clause in the Constitution. As a matter of fact, it's the first sentence of the First Amendment of the Constitution. It's just made up nonsense all the way down from these people. Separation of church and state is in the Constitution. That phrase is not. Just like gun rights is not in the Constitution. Like that phrase right there, gun rights, that's not in the Constitution. I see, I can do it too.
By the way, it's not found anywhere in the Constitution. This is, again, a phrase that is used to weaponize the government against people's religious liberties, trying to take away religious freedom. We're not going to stand for it. Here in Oklahoma, we're very proud to have the first religious charter school in the
Yeah, I want to sacrifice a kid on a mountain. You're stopping me. Unacceptable. My freedoms.
For it. Here in Oklahoma, we're very proud to have the first religious charter school in the country. We're going to continue to fight for school choice, and we're going to continue to fight for your ability to freely exercise your religious beliefs.
Personally, I would prefer it if you fight for my right to party, but okay. I actually do believe in like religious freedom, like deeply believe in that. I would fight for people's religious freedom as long as it's not trampling all over my religious freedom. That's what he's fighting for here with this Catholic charter school funded by the government or whatever. Here's another clip on this subject. This one is actually earlier than the last one. I thought the last one was older. This one's from mid-April 2023. Is that right? No, this one may be from 2024. Maybe I wrote it down wrong. Yeah, you know what? This must be from 2024, April. Yeah, give this a listen.
Today, the Virtual Charter School Board has the opportunity to approve Catholic schools for a new charter school in Oklahoma. This absolutely is the direction that Oklahoma should go. It provides more choices for our students and our parents so that if they want to put their kid in a different learning environment, they can. And
look, I don't care about parents' rights. I care about students' rights. The student is there to receive a certain level of education. That's why kids are going to school. They're not going for the parents. Now, parents should have a say to a degree, but to protect Catholics and Pentecostals and Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons and Muslims and Buddhists and people of all religions, we have, as a society, agreed to leave that out of the classroom. They will simply learn how to read and write. That is it. You want to teach them how to be a Christian or whatever, take them to church after school. This is not for church. This is for learning how to read and write. This isn't like a choice that people should be able to make. Just like it's mandatory to go to school, it should be mandatory to learn the basic stuff without having religion crammed down your throat.
they can. And again, nobody knows best for kids and their parents. Also, to be clear, this is about religious liberties. Absolutely. Do we want the Catholic Church and do we want other religious entities to be involved in education? It is a good thing for Oklahomans to have more people involved, to have more options available for their kids so that education outcomes continue to improve.
What a wild way to twist this, right? They're taking options away from kids is what they're doing, actually.
I will continue to support this, and we will continue to champion parents and students here at the agency.
Just disgusting, seriously. Like I said, it failed, so we're in good shape. It's just like, this guy is terrible. I will take a look at this last video in just a minute. I just want to read a little bit of this article. This is from Hemant Mehta on the Friendly Atheist website. See what it has to say here. In a devastating ruling for conservatives who want public money to fund private Christian education, the Oklahoma Supreme Court today ruled 7-1 to block the state from launching the nation's first religious charter school. While the decision will be appealed, for now, St. Isidore of Seville Catholic Virtual School will not be opening this fall, at least not with the benefit of any taxpayer dollars. Oklahoma's Attorney General Gentner Drummond, who filed the lawsuit, yes, really, celebrated this decision. Wow, fascinating. Quote, this is from Gentner Drummond. What a wild name. Quote, this decision is a tremendous victory for religious liberty. The framers of the U.S. Constitution and those who drafted Oklahoma's Constitution clearly understood how best to protect religious freedom by preventing the state from sponsoring any religion at all. Now, Oklahomans can be assured that our tax dollars will not fund the teachings of Sharia law or even Satanism. Great, fine. That's fantastic. Love it. Whatever. I want religious freedom. You're doing it for the wrong reasons, but okay. While I understand that the governor and other politicians are disappointed with the outcome, I hope that the people of Oklahoma can rejoice that they will not be compelled to fund radical religious schools that violate their faith. That's just the best. I love everything about it. Count this as a W, guys. This is good news. And even better news, it was 7-1. 7-1. That's like a landslide vote in our favor. That means any other like far right religious bills that come up to the Supreme Court or whatever are doomed to fail, almost certainly, by the Oklahoma system. That's great news. Now, aside from all of that, let me just explain one quick thing here. The U.S. Constitution, the federal Constitution, is over top of every state. And the Constitution isn't a permission slip for citizens, what they're allowed to do. It's a permission slip for the government, what it is allowed to do. The government is not allowed to take away people's free speech. They are not allowed to quarter troops in your home or to compel you to this or that or whatever. Under the federal Constitution, you have state constitutions, and they add additional things that their government are not allowed to do. So the Oklahoma Supreme Court ruled against people cramming religious stuff down kids' throats. The one hedge that I might have to offer in this situation is maybe these religious nutcases denied it so it would go to the federal Supreme Court. I don't know. We'll see. But there is no way to interpret this as okay. There is no way to do it. Let me just look it up. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or the press, so on and so forth. This applies to the federal government. The federal Congress can't, make any laws about about churches or whatever. But since it's over top of the states, this applies to state Congress too. States cannot make laws about this. I don't know how anybody could twist this out of proportion to back up teaching the Bible in a classroom or whatever. I mean, the Supreme Court's done some pretty crooked stuff up to now, so we'll see. But this is a W right now. We should count this as a win. And just for good measure, listen to this dude's last video on the subject.
We just put in place a new bill, HB 1425. Here's what this bill does. It allows students during the day in high school to go to a church, receive religious or moral study, and get credit for it. We want to encourage our kids to freely express their religious beliefs, and so we're very excited about this piece of legislation.
This is a state-sponsored or state-endorsed religion. That's what this is. They're using an arm of the government to promote one religion over another. And this has been pretty clearly defined and drawn out by presidents going all the way back to Thomas Jefferson. This simply is not legal to do by any stretch of the imagination. But what they're doing is they're throwing things at the wall to see what sticks. We have to shoot these bills down all the time. They have to be right once, or they have to get one through once. That's the problem.
Well, we've now had the Satanists come in and say they're going to offer courses too and get credit for it. So I'm just going to clear this up. No, the Satanists are not coming into our schools. No, Satanism is not a religion. They will not be recognized by our State Department of Education.
Yeah, I guess he forgot that if he allows religion in government, that like any religion can get in. Oops. Yeah.
You are not a religion, Satanist. I know that you guys like lying, and that's a central part of your belief system there. But
it's not, of course, but okay.
You will not be participating with our schools. You will not be allowed in our schools, nor will you receive credit.
See, the problem with the way that everything is structured right now for Christian nationalists is if they want to allow a holy book in school, they have to allow all holy books in schools. They can teach from the Bible, but they have to allow all organizations, all religions to do that. They have to basically say, you can teach from any holy book or whatever. And nobody wants Satanists coming in and teaching their kids Satanism. The way the Constitution is structured was specifically meant to prevent Christianity from taking a foothold in the schools or in the anything, whatever, taking a foothold in government over any other religion. So Congress will not be able to make a law mandating that Bibles are read in every school. It's just not going to happen. It would reverse literally the entire Constitution. They would have to repeal the First Amendment. So, the Constitution says no establishing like laws about the religion or whatever it is. No laws about establishing religion. These people found a way around that. Of course, it's not going to work, but this is like the ideal scenario in their like fictitious world.
But the left side will make innuendos. Well, now we're going to have Satanists as chaplains. First, satanic is not a church, is not a...
Yeah, no innuendo about it. Satanists are planning to sign up as chaplains to operate in schools, just like Christian pastors are. If you're going to have pastors replace school counselors, Satanists are too.
Not a church, it's not a religion,
it is actually.
It's anti-God. So you just say, okay, and move on to the next one. Because I don't know any of you that would hire a Satanist, so you just look at their background and don't hire them. I mean...
Yeah, there's their solution. Look at their background and don't hire them if they're Satanists. They're saying, we're not going to make a law about it, we're just like not going to let them in. That's not going to work either, though. There are plenty of school administrators that are in favor of religious freedom, so anyway.